If you've been smoking for 20 years and you're thinking it's too late to change anything, I need you to hear this. Scientists just proved you're wrong. Dead wrong. A massive study of over 9,000 people found that quitting smoking, even in your 50s, 60s or beyond, can slow your brain's aging clock by months per year. And we're talking about your memory, your focus, your mental sharpness. This isn't just good news. This might be the wake-up call that actually works. Welcome back to Mind and Marvel. Today we're breaking down one of the most hopeful studies you'll hear this year. Most of us know that smoking is bad for your heart, your lungs, your skin. We've heard that message for decades, right? But here's what most people don't realize. Smoking is absolutely devastating to your brain. Every cigarette you smoke damages your blood vessels, floods your brain with inflammation, and accelerates cognitive decline. It's like slowly turning down the volume on your mental abilities. But the real question everyone's asking is, if you've been smoking for years or decades, is it too late to fix the damage? For the longest time, the answer was, we didn't really know. Previous research showed short-term improvements after quitting, but what about the long-term? What about people who quit later in life? That's where this new research from University College London comes in, and the answer they found is absolutely powerful. Let's talk about the research itself because the methodology is really important here. Researchers from UCL looked at data from 9,136 people aged 40 or over, average age around 58, across 12 countries. We're talking about England, the United States, and 10 other European nations. But here's what makes this study so solid. They didn't just compare smokers to non-smokers. That wouldn't be very rigorous. Instead, they compared more than 4,700 people who quit smoking with an equal number of people who continued smoking. Both groups were matched on their initial cognitive scores: age, sex, education level, and country of birth. This is crucial because it means we're comparing apples to apples. The people who quit weren't somehow smarter to begin with. They had the same starting point. And here's the really clever part. They looked at cognitive decline in the 6 years before people quit smoking, and then compared it to the 6 years after they quit. So they could actually see the difference between their decline trajectory when they were still smoking versus after they quit. This is powerful evidence. Alright, here come the numbers that matter. The results were genuinely impressive. For people who quit smoking, the rate of decline in memory was about 20% slower. And for verbal fluency, your ability to think of words, communicate, express ideas, the rate of decline was about 50% slower. Now that might sound abstract, so let me translate it into real time. In practical terms, each year of aging, people who quit experience 3 to 4 months less memory decline and 6 months less fluency decline than those who continued smoking. Think about that for a second. That means, if you quit at 55, by the time you're 65, you've essentially saved a year of memory decline compared to someone who kept smoking. By 75, you've saved almost 2 years worth of decline. That's the difference between remembering your grandchild's name clearly and struggling to recall it. That's the difference between a sharp mind and one that's fading. But here's what makes this even more important. Slower cognitive decline is linked to lower dementia risk. We don't have absolute proof that quitting smoking prevents dementia, but the connection between cognitive decline and dementia is well established. So if you're slowing cognitive decline, you're likely reducing your dementia risk. The researchers noted that current Alzheimer's disease therapies delay progression of cognitive decline by around 5 months over 18 months. Think about that. Quitting smoking potentially offers greater cognitive benefits than some Alzheimer's medications. The question you might be asking is, how does this actually work? Why would quitting smoking improve your brain health? The answer involves multiple systems in your body all working in concert, and it's actually kind of fascinating. First, let's talk about blood vessels. When you smoke, nicotine and other chemicals in cigarettes damage your blood vessels. They make them stiffer, narrower, less flexible. This is a huge problem for your brain because your brain is incredibly demanding. It only makes up about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes about 20% of your oxygen. Your brain is hungry for blood flow. When your blood vessels are damaged from smoking, they can't deliver oxygen and nutrients efficiently. It's like trying to water a garden with a clogged hose. When you quit smoking, something remarkable happens. Your damaged blood vessels begin to heal. Your cardiovascular system starts functioning better. Oxygen delivery to your brain improves. But that's not all. Smoking does something else particularly nasty to your brain. It causes chronic inflammation. Inflammation is like your immune system overreacting. It's like sounding the alarm when there's just a small sound. This constant state of high alert damages your neurons, the actual brain cells that do the thinking. Smoking also generates something called oxidative stress through free radicals. These are unstable molecules that damage healthy cells. When you quit smoking, all three of these processes start to reverse. Blood flow improves, inflammation decreases, and oxidative stress reduces. Your brain finally gets the chance to heal. And here's the incredible part. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. That's your brain's ability to rewire itself, to heal, to adapt. Even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, your brain maintains this ability. So the moment you stop smoking, your brain starts working on damage control, and apparently, it never stops. Now let's talk about why this research is so important, because it's not just about the numbers. One of the lead researchers, Dr. Michaela Bloomberg from UCL, said, "Our study suggests that quitting smoking may help people to maintain better cognitive health over the long term, even when we are in our 50s or older when we quit. It seems that for our cognitive health too, it is never too late to quit." That's the core message here. It's never too late. And this matters because here's a brutal fact. Middle-aged and older smokers are less likely to try to quit than younger groups, yet they disproportionately experience the harms of smoking. Think about what that means. Older adults are the ones getting hit the hardest by smoking-related damage, yet they're the least likely to try to change it. Why? Probably because they think, "I've been smoking for 40 years. What's the point now?" But this study literally proves that belief is wrong. The point is huge. The finding is especially important because evidence that quitting may support cognitive health could offer new compelling motivation for this group to try and quit smoking. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about you should have quit years ago. This is about hope. This is about the fact that your brain still has the capacity to heal, and that's powerful for anyone struggling with addiction, or anyone who's tried to quit before and failed. It's never too late to try again. Your brain is waiting for you to give it a chance. Let me be clear about what this research does and doesn't say. This is an observational analysis, meaning we can see that quitting smoking and slower cognitive decline are linked, but we can't prove that one directly causes the other. There could be other factors involved. The researchers themselves note that further research is needed, particularly studies that specifically examine dementia. This isn't the final word. It's a really important stepping stone. But in practical terms, what we know is compelling. Adults aged over 65 who quit smoking during early or midlife have comparable cognitive scores to never smokers, and former and never smokers have a similar risk of dementia a decade or longer after quitting. So the brain's ability to recover isn't a myth. It's documented, it's real, and that changes everything about the conversation around quitting smoking. Let's recap what we learned today. A massive study of over 9,000 people found that quitting smoking, regardless of your age, slows cognitive decline. Memory decline was 50% slower, verbal fluency was even more dramatically improved. Each year after quitting, you save yourself about 6 months of brain aging. This happens because your blood vessels heal, inflammation drops, and your brain gets the oxygen and nutrients it's been starved of. Your brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to heal and adapt, never goes away, even at 80. Most importantly, this research sends a powerful message to middle-aged and older smokers. It's never too late. Your brain can still bounce back. If this video resonated with you, or if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share it. And if you're struggling with smoking, dropping a comment with what's holding you back might actually help. Our community is incredibly supportive. Give this video a thumbs up if you believe it's never too late to make a change. Subscribe to Mind and Marvel for more mind-blowing science that actually matters to your life. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to invest in your brain.